Hi guys and welcome to the Quinn podcast. Here we give you a look through the eyes of the most successful athletes, entertainers, entrepreneurs and influencers on this planet. Be sure to check out all of the content at quinnpodcast.com. Enjoy the episode. Yeah, real quick on the backstory. Professional dancer to CEO entrepreneur. That's an unconventional one. Take me through that. Just the headlines.
Sure.
Had to happen. Mm-hmm. That's the way to do it. Dancing. At what age did you get into Rockets? Wow, that's dope. What made you get in though? Like you say 2 a year. What did you attribute that to? Getting in.
Like I said, at 3, I declared I was going to be a Rockette, and I spent like all my spare time training in dance.
Mm-hmm.
I started performing professionally at 16 and just worked my way into the Rockettes because when I say I'm going to do something, I do it.
I like it. That's cool. The family's entrepreneurial or not at all? I
Yeah,
read
no,
it's a
but
small
very,
town.
yeah, very different. My father owned a roofing and construction company.
Okay, what was that like? Did you
I
work
mean,
in it at all? No.
oh no, I didn't work in it, but I got to see like him doing payroll and all of that every week. So I saw the backside of it and the stresses of the business and the favors
Mm-hmm.
that he did for people and the reason why people loved him and liked him.
Yeah, it's worth something, right? Being around that,
Yeah.
seeing that sort of a role model. That's cool.
Yeah.
So coming out of dancing, then into business. Explain that to me, because you had no background in it besides just seeing your father do it, right?
Well, I dual resume the entire time that I
Okay.
was in New York City. So for me, like I climbed the corporate ladder while I was also performing. The Rockettes, we have a really unique contract. We sign a year-long contract. We get our benefits year-round, but we're only required to dance the Christmas season. So I would work with the Rockettes for about 2.5 to 3 months a year, and then I would go into corporate America. What I found is that if you are extremely good at what you do, people will make exceptions and bend rules for you. So the company I worked for would let me leave. They wouldn't terminate my employment. They would let me leave. And then when I would come back each year, I would come back to a promotion.
Way to do it. What do you take from dancing today? Because I can imagine, look, the teamwork and everything,
Oh,
right? It's lessons.
so much. I think that for one, dancers are disciplined. We know how to take direction and criticism without taking it personally. We know how to apply that as constructive criticism and immediately utilize it to make ourselves better. So in business, this can go a long way. Also, working as a team, in particular, the Rockettes are precision dance troupe. So everyone has to look alike. It's not about being a standout. It's about working as a team to make one cohesive product. So when you work in a team environment, and especially in leadership, this goes a long way for me building my teams and encouraging everyone to work as a unit as opposed to compete in a way that's not healthy. We compete with each other to be better and to make the entire team rise because we believe that, all boats rise when the tide rises.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same point in time, it's not unhealthy competition where it's trying to make one person a star.
I hear you for sure.
Yeah.
Um, so what's the main business right now? At JVZoo, I saw you did. You're in marketing.
Mhm.
What takes up most of the energy right now?
So JVZoo is my main business. It's a company I've been running for 10 years that I bought into in June. I love JVZoo. It feels like my own baby, even though it's not. And that takes up the majority of my focus.
So JVZoo itself, you didn't start it, right? You bought it. At what stage of the business did you buy it?
So I came in 10 years ago. We're a 12-year-old company. I came in 10 years ago as a consultant.
Mm-hmm.
I became their COO within a few months. About a year and a half later, I became their CEO. And then June of this year, I purchased and bought out one of the owners.
Right, this year. Okay, cool. At what stage was it? Obviously way different, but 10 years ago compared to now, what were you able to do with it?
I mean, when I came in, we were approximately 150 million. We've done about 3.2 billion now under my leadership.
And it's in affiliates? Explain it to me, break that number down.
Yeah, so for the 3.2 billion, that's the gross revenue that we have generated on the platform through having products that are available for sale, and affiliates can go and grab a link and go out and promote that product for the product owners. So we are primarily in a marketplace and an affiliate network, but we do all of the tracking. We have so much robust reporting as well. You can utilize JVZoo if you're just selling on your own and running ads. You'll find that we are a lot more affordable than most places that people would utilize to see their reporting. However, it's a lot more user-friendly, and we just want to provide a place that has the tools for business owners to grow.
I hear you. What was the opportunity you saw back then? Why did you decide to go all in on this one?
Yeah, JVZoo was in a startup phase, and I was coming fresh out of corporate America, where I had been working for much larger companies at the time, and everything felt like a dinosaur. It felt like to make any change, you had to go through all this bureaucracy and meeting after meeting. And 8 months down the road, somebody would finally say, we're getting closer to being able to approve the most minuscule change. So when the opportunity presented itself with JVZoo to leave corporate America, to be at the time a consultant to help this company that was growing from day one organically, because it was kind of a combination of the right product, right timing, right marketing, everything hit right for them. And these guys that had this great company had no idea what to do with it. You know, they had no idea it was going to be successful. It was 3 of them actually. So all 3 of them were looking to make an additional $1,000 a month. Right? And then, I mean, they just blew that out of the water. And day one, they had this insane amount of growth, and they were making so much money, they didn't know what to do, and they didn't know how to run it like a real business. So for me, being able to step in, to be nimble, to make changes as we got the data in, not sitting down and having months of meetings, but to literally look at the data in real time and pivot when we needed to pivot and run wide open in a direction that made sense. It was the most exhilarating feeling for me to remove all that. Can I curse? Can I say something ugly here?
Whatever, sure.
To remove the bullshit bureaucracy and to just make smart and nimble business decisions.
I hear you. Anything about just corporate you miss? Maybe the consistency of it, or?
Well, no, we utilize the things that work, right? We still have consistency. There are still rules within the company. We still have things like an employee handbook. But at the same point in time, we got rid of all of the meaningless meetings. We got rid of, for us, there's no water coolering. There's no standing around chit-chatting about nothing. Everybody's motivated. I just saw a reel that Vanessa Van Edwards put out, and it was saying that if you sit near someone that performs, I want to say it was 25% better than you, then your performance will increase by 15%. But if you sit by someone who performs 25% worse than you, your performance drops by 30%. That is a wild statistic. And when we are all together, this team that I have curated, they're all people that want to be at the top of their performance level. So everyone thrives off of each other. You know, it's taking the best and making it better, as opposed to corporate America, where you've got all these people that are not necessarily working because they love it. They're working because they need a job and they need the income, but they're not working at this particular job because it feeds their soul. It gives them energy. They're like, I can do it better, but my employees are.
That's cool. I like that. So maybe just me being stupid, but I'm trying to understand what it is exactly.
Yeah.
Take me through, like, I don't know, your operations. Like, what do you do in the business itself as a CEO?
As a CEO, oh my
Yeah,
goodness. So many things that I think every
sure.
entrepreneur does, but I have to do it not just for myself and like me as an individual entrepreneur who maybe outsources to 3 or 4 people, but I have to do it for the entire company and, my over 1 million affiliates. Because for me, every user is my responsibility as well. So my day to day is I'm not only looking at the numbers, but I'm looking at the trends. I'm looking at the future of the industry. I'm trying to not only give people the tools that they need to use now while protecting them from things they may not know. Like they may not understand. I live in this country, but I'm selling to consumers in this country, and there are different laws I have to abide by. I have to make sure that I put the protections in place for those people and that I relay those things to my compliance department so my compliance department can protect them as well.
Mm-hmm.
But then I'm also having to look at what's coming in the future and how could they all lose their businesses and their income if they didn't know about it. So I have to be prepared and have those tools for the future, the new wave, what's happening, but also look at the language that's being used. When we first got on, I said to you, whether it was a creator or a product owner, they could list
Mm-hmm.
their items for sale at JVZoo. It used to be vendors. Then it was publishers. Now we're moving into this space where people that create products are called creators. But there's a language barrier. And if you don't know that, then creators, the younger generations out there now creating all these things to sell, will not recognize a platform like JVZoo as something that is available to them to use.
That way. So how do creators or developers or whatever you want to call them, how do they like find the platform, and what are the products first off they sell?
So we are primarily software. We're primarily software and
Okay.
digital downloadable products, but we do have physical products. But if you create a PDF on anything like how to start a podcast, this is how you do it, or you have a video course or whatever it is that you do, you can come to JVZoo and you can list that product. We're not charging you monthly fees. We're not charging you to utilize all the great tools on our platform. We only charge you when you make a sale. For us, this is a great synergy because it means we have to pay attention to your business, that we are invested in helping you make sales.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a win-win for us.
And then it's people directly buying on the platform itself, or it's people affiliate marketing? Explain that to me.
Both. So we have our own marketplace.
Okay.
And then I have where a product owner can list their product available and say, here's what my product is. Here's the creatives or the marketing material that I will allow you to use. And you can request to promote my product, and I'll pay you whatever percentage of the sale if you generate sales for me. So then the affiliate can request, and you can decide as a vendor whether or not you want to approve them or deny them.
Mm-hmm.
And once you say go, they grab their links and the creatives of the marketing material you've supplied, and they just run and promote it. We do all of the tracking. We let you see everything. If you don't like the way one person's promoting your product, you can block them from promoting your product going forward. After the payment, that goes through our checkout pages, which we provide various types of checkout pages for you. We handle the processing of the payment, the splitting of all the money, the payment of the affiliates. If you have high ticket sales you're doing on the back end, we handle your setters payments, your closers payments, the tracking of all of that. So it lets an entrepreneur and a product creator just focus on what they do without all the back end hassle.
Just selling itself. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Trying to understand it, right? That's what I love about like this podcast. Like, get to like ask these kind of type of questions. That's cool. Just for me, just to understand it. Like, what's the difference between this and like multi-level marketing?
Multi-level
or this is, yeah. Like, what's the?
So multi-level marketing is more of it's a pyramid, right? So
Right.
this person gets this person and this person to not only buy the product, but to sign up now to promote the product up under them. And then they encourage these people. Now we want you to go each find X amount of customers. They need to not only buy from you, but then you need to convince them that they want to sign up under you, which is ultimately up under me.
Mm-hmm.
And then they need to go sell this product. So affiliate marketing is vastly different, that we're not creating a pyramid. We are saying, here's the person that owns the product. You can go and get as many affiliates as you want. 3, 5, a million. Doesn't matter. We've got all these affiliates. You can approve them or deny them to have a link to be paid a certain amount of money when they promote your product. They don't need to buy your product first. They don't need to report to me about it. And then like it's not this whole pyramid about it. There's not levels, and there's not each person making a small percentage off the sale. It's the affiliate making a percentage, and that's it. So there's no one up under them. There's no all this tiered stuff and saying, because that you get into a weird thing with multi-level marketing. You have these people that are like, well, I do want to use this product, but I don't really want to sell it. But now they're telling me I have to. So I'm going to go and try to sell this product, and I don't genuinely want to do it. We don't do any of that. We don't do, I don't know. There's only one level here. I think that's the biggest difference. One level as opposed to however many you want to add in multi-level.
That sort of has a bad rep to it, right? I don't know. I believe it was in like the 80s or the 90s that sort of, before there was sort of regulation in multi-level marketing.
And it still does have a bad rep. Unfortunately, some of it's great. Some multi-level.
Yeah, explain that. What's your view on it?
Well, I think when it's done right, it's great. When it's, when it says, hey, if you've got friends and you want to build this network, you can go and do that, but you don't have to worry about any of all the crazy business stuff on the back end. So that can be really great for a stay-at-home mom who needs to earn some extra money to pay for her kids' sports lessons or, what travel team, whatever it is. That could be good for them. They don't have to worry about all these legalities. The company itself is doing that. But the bad part is when you have this whole pyramid of people feeling forced to go do something where they only get a small percentage. And then, they don't get to for one, they don't genuinely like the product. And two, they don't get to take the full amount of the commissions because they've got 2 coaches above them that they've never even met. They don't even know those people, but somehow, because their friend got them to sign up, they're now in this long pyramid of levels that they've got to pay up to.
Yeah. Interesting one to understand those. Yeah. Some dude tried to get me into a pyramid scheme the other day. It was pretty funny.
Really?
Yeah.
You feel the ick?
I don't know. It's just, it feels off like immediately.
That's what I say. It feels icky. Like, something's not right. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And for me, with affiliate marketing, the affiliates are going and looking at the products and they're saying, does this make sense for my customers? Does this make sense for the people that follow me on social media or my email list? Would I go and promote this product to them?
Cool. Are there many competitive platforms in the space for you? How do you look at that?
There's always new ones popping up too. People are constantly saying, because we're 12 years old now, in the world of startups, we're past that. We're an established business at this point in time. Our startup phase is long over. And there were companies like this that existed before we came into the space. I now think they're kind of like the dinosaurs. There's us right now where it's like we can choose to see the future and grow with the future, or we can hold steady where we are and think that the world's not changing. That's a bad business decision to think the world's not changing and evolving.
Sure.
So that's not us. But then there's new companies popping up all the time. And there have been the entire time I've been here. I see most of them not even lasting 5 years. And then you'll see a great one that comes up and has new ideas and new ways of thinking and showing things. And they may become the leader in the space for a short amount of time. But is it sustainable? Do they see all the things that are coming their way? There's a reason why statistics show like most companies don't make it past year 1. Then getting to year 3 is an even bigger hurdle. By year 5, you'll see 98% of the companies that started 5 years ago don't.
Why is that?
Because people don't know everything that's involved in running a business. And they think I can ignore these legalities, or they don't understand the most basic things like cash flow. Cash flow really matters. And I see these younger companies now and kids taking on so much investment money. One, when you take on investment money, you're no longer working for yourself. You're working for the firm that invested in you. And then 2, when you have chunks of money to run wild with, you never really learn what's working and not what's not working, because you
Hmm.
see the cash is there and you think you have a grasp on it. Not everyone. You'll see the unicorns that stand out and that continue to grow and really make that money work for them. And then you'll see the companies that they're 10 years in because they had all this investment money and they've never turned a profit.
It's sort of crazy, right? The investment money. For me, I'm 21 right now, and I'm sort of starting to get into that world. Like friends around me, they're starting to raise money. 5 years ago, there was no conversation at all. Like no one would even
Yeah.
take me serious. So it's just like little marketing projects on the side, this and that. I had a podcast since 2018, 19, I believe. But since like maybe a year or two, like everyone around me is like raising money, and it's like crazy amounts, like $1 million a year, 100,000 a year. I don't know. It's. I don't feel like I've progressed that much as like a person compared to 5 years ago. But
Yeah.
like the stakes are way higher, and for the people around me, it's sort of crazy. Yeah.
I think it's wonderful though, because like for me, I'm much older than you. And when I was your age, people weren't investing in
Hmm.
younger people. It just wasn't. You didn't know anything. You were so young. But the reality is these devices and you guys all jumping on them and being like, I'm not going to be tethered to a desk. I'm not going to, that's not the way I want to live my life in a cubicle in some big building. So I'm going to make this work for me. That's brilliant. And you guys have really taken it and run with it and show that, hey, you might be older and know more about business, but I'm going to show you the future.
Yeah. Yeah, that wasn't that way before, like 10, 20 years ago. It was just, if you were older, you knew more. But now
Yeah.
there's sort of a gap starting to, materialize.
Exactly. And that's
Crazy.
why, like, for someone my age, I know how important it is to pay attention to how the generations are looking at things, what matters to them, how they're working, how they want to work. And then my job, if we want to stay relevant as a company,
Sure.
to make my platform work and to be mobile responsive.
That's one. Yeah. Are there things my generation is not understanding about business from your perspective?
Sometimes, yes. I think one, there are a lot of people now I see in their 20s that they don't want to put in the work and the effort. Not everybody. There are always the standouts, but they don't want to put in the work and the effort to get to a higher level. They think they should instantly be at that level. And I hear a lot of that. Like if I'm in a coffee shop, I'll hear someone say, well, they wanted me to work this shift and I'm not going to work that bad shift. And I'm like, but you're 21. And the person there that's 30, they already did that. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
there is a natural progress. Now, if you want to start your own company, then you can do that and do it however fast you want to do it, because man, there's no one holding you back, but you do need to pay attention to the legalities where you are. And there's no excuse for any business owner not to take responsibility for what they're liable for. And if you don't know, then you've got AI right now that can tell you a lot before you even start paying an attorney.
Yeah. Yeah. True. Sure. You happy you started 12 years ago for yourself, or 10 years ago for yourself, or you wish you would have started earlier?
For me, I think it was perfect. I never look back on my path and wish I would have
Mm-hmm.
changed anything. First of all, regret is wasted time.
Sure.
So I don't do that. And I've always been the person who says I'll try anything. So I'm never on my deathbed going to look back and think, what if I would have done that sooner? What if? That's not me. I will try everything. I know there are plenty of things I won't do again. But also, I did learn a lot. I learned a lot climbing the corporate ladder. I know how to structure companies,
I'm
run
asking.
businesses.
Right.
Yeah, do deals. And I know when someone's trying to like get one over on me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, it's not always best, starting earlier.
No, I mean, I think everyone has their own path, right? Sometimes it is good to start earlier. Sometimes you have a lot you need to learn. And then there are plenty of times where we all learn along the way. And it's, are you willing to learn as you go and grow and be humble where you need to be humble, but also know when you know more than someone else? Because there's no age limit on knowledge.
Mm-hmm. Are there things you would have wished to put more emphasis on, like earlier in the just in like your corporate building ladder phase? I don't know, deal flow or negotiation or anything.
I think, sure, there's some things I could have done differently. I definitely wish I would have had some things in place. For me, I have a 4-year-old, and I took 2 days off maternity leave while I was in labor. Um, so for me, I would have loved to have taken more time off and had a better structure in place of people to run things the way I wanted them to be run without me. But I didn't at the time feel like I could fully walk away. So I think, yeah, I would have set some more things up in place that had 100% my trust behind them.
So that's systems, that's employees. How do you look at that?
I think it's employees. And part of that was at the time I didn't own the whole company, or, I didn't own the
Right.
company. I was an employee. And while I was the CEO, I still reported to a board. And so a lot of the decisions weren't mine to make. I think maybe I could have made some of my moves sooner as far as purchasing, buying out shareholders. Maybe I should have just done that sooner. But like I said, I'm not going to look back and regret it. I'm where I
Sure.
am now.
That's interesting to like analyze the moves
Yeah.
you've made, right? And trying to learn from it and everything. It's cool. You bought the entire company this June, you
I
said?
don't. I have 2 partners. One
Okay,
of them has
right.
been here since the beginning. He is the person that actually coded JVZoo. He's the original developer.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other is Simon Harris, who is a partner of mine in another company with he's a marketer.
All right. And that's Vidastreet.
Vidastreet, yes.
Vidastreet, there we go.
Yes.
How do you divide your time between those two?
Yeah, so I do that. I do my consulting. I promote my book, and I speak. It's a lot of things to do, plus being a mother. So for me, I'm all about time blocking and time management. And I set certain times where I can check emails. And then the rest of the time, my email has to be off, not to distract me. There are certain times that I work on one company and then I knock out everything that needs to be done there, assign things out, delegate, delegate, delegate. And then I switch to the other company. Then there's times when I'm on the phone with a client. These are the times that I can do phone calls or podcasts or things like that.
Mm-hmm.
That blocks over. It doesn't get done later that day. And I just divide and conquer, and I have a great team that I can trust. I have a team now that I can really delegate to and say, when you hit a roadblock, come to me, and they will. I don't have to worry about them not coming to me. A client is just as happy talking to them as they are to me because they know my team knows what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's really just I time block, I run in those blocks, and then I don't let things seep in. Like I put my phone on do not disturb. I handle text messages later.
Cool.
Yeah.
At what point did you feel like you were like ready to take on another venture? Because that's sort of tough for me. I mean, it sort of blends into each other, and I'm doing 5 things at a time, and not even that I'm not disciplined enough to like work on one thing, but you think about the other thing, right? Mainly that.
Sometimes. For me, I look at it like how I go running. When I'm running, I try to run. My goal is when I'm out on the beach running is to run so fast and so hard the only thing I can think about is breathing and not falling down. And so that's how I am when I'm working. It's the truth though. So when and it helps me clear my mind so that when I am focused on business, I can focus on business. When I'm working for JVZoo, I'm not actually thinking about my other companies. I can't. I need to have all the things I've got to do in this amount of time and stay disciplined and focused. Now, I'm very good at doing that. Simon, my business partner, is not. He is kind of like this, which is what makes him a great marketer, whereas I'm like squirrel and he's off on something else. He's like, what happened? So he's not as focused and I have to help him block out his day. I think a really big thing for you to know is 1, always make your list for what you need to do tomorrow, today. So if you know for your businesses, if you're doing more than one, I have all these things I need to do, make your list and check them off. If you stay focused on those things one at a time, checking them off, you'll really stay focused mentally on those things as well. I don't look further down my list to see what else is coming. I wrote it out yesterday. I do them one at a time, and that's all I'm doing. Checking them off, boom, 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 boom. For knowing when you have more time, there's things to weigh out. If you want to start a new venture or like become a part of something else. How much of your time is it going to require? How much is it going to take away from the other thing you have? Have to weigh it. If it's not going to damage what you've already built too much, and you can put processes in place to keep this sustainable and going, then maybe it's worth taking on. And I now, because I'm older and I do have a child, think of it like this. Having more than one, they say is hard. But once you've had two, three's not so hard. Now, I'll tell you this, in the world of children, I have one and there'll never be another because it's hard enough for me. So some people, I think, will look at their business like that. I have one and it's hard enough. There'll never be another. But you can also invest in other businesses and say, I'm not going to be active daily in this, but I'll come on to the monthly call and consult and we'll talk about things in direction. So you may not own as large of a percent, but having 5% and 10 businesses is far better than only having your one business. You're diversified now.
I see you. Sure. That's cool. That's a good one for sure. JVZoo, you basically 20x'd it. Can you maybe share a story in like the scaling phase? What was tough about it? What you love about it? I look back on that. Just scaling a business like that.
Well, when you're scaling and you're scaling that quickly, it's hard because everything's happening so fast. You don't have time to really sit around and think, are we doing it right? And chances are, when you are scaling that fast, you are going to miss things because you're trying to, like for us as a tech company, we've got to have the servers and the bandwidth, and we've got to be able to keep up without being, offline for people. So that was like huge things that we had to make our primary focus. But then at the same point in time, you're not necessarily, when you're doing those things, able to build features as fast. Or then you become focused on, we've got to add all these features, and you're just adding features, but you're not adding business direction and growth. And for me, one of the things I've really realized is that for a platform like mine, where I have users and product owners, they're not necessarily business savvy. So I have to look at their businesses and understand where their business is going to go if I give them the right tools and make them easy enough. So it's not only knowing the tools they need, it's building out those tools, but then making them like stupid easy, right? And that takes time to plan and think about and develop and then test. But when you're scaling that fast, how do you do all that and do it properly? And startup phase is a lot easier because when you're in a startup phase, you can release version 1, version 2, version 3, take user feedback the whole time, constantly upgrade it. But once you're developed and you're a 12-year-old company, you don't get to do that so much. People expect you to have the knowledge to be paced out. So I would say when you're growing that fast and when you are being nimble and making changes, you have to, 1, look at the data, remove emotions, make decisions off data. Because that's the only way you can keep scaling. You're going to get negative feedback from some people, and you have to decide, are those the people I'm catering to? And it may be, because it may be the future of your company, and you may need to make big changes. Or are these the people I'm willing to lose for this amount? For me, I had 10% of complainers that hated everything I was doing and 90% that loved it. I built for the 90%, right? I built, we kept going, we kept growing, and we just went as fast as we could in those directions. And then we would stop and say, okay, now what kind of technical debt do we have? And how do we prioritize this technical debt cleanup over the next year while we still continue to give our users what they're used to, all these new additions and features? We had 8 years where we released more features than there were business days in the year. 8 years of that. You want to know the kind of technical debt that comes with that? Whew, you're like a landfill. You're just a dumpster. And so we had to then say, we have to put the brakes on ourselves. We have to put the brakes on ourselves and clean this up. And that's, now we balance every year, every quarter. What are we cleaning up with? What are we adding? And what matters most now?
Yeah, for sure. Now you say like dumbing it down. That's an interesting one. It can be tough, right? When you're just 12-hour days, just, I don't know, years on end, basically, to like see it from an outside perspective, and understand what someone experiences who's not in that world.
Absolutely. And like the difference in me and you and like the things you know and the things I know are vastly different. If you were going to teach me like I don't know, podcasting, camera setup, that kind of stuff, you would have to dumb it down for me. You would teach it to me like you're teaching a child. For me, I have to remind myself the things that I know in business that I think were entry level for me. People don't know. Like I recently had a user reach out to me and say, hey, you need to watch this video. It's so important. It's about trademarks and copyright. And I'm like, what? So I go look at it. And for me, trademarks and copyright are like the things you do like on day 1 or 2 of planning your business.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm 12 years into this. You think I'm trademarked. I have copyrights. No one's
Right.
taking my stuff in any country.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just, so it's hard to remember some things that we do have to dumb down and present to people on a very elementary level.
Yeah, that is crazy. It's at times, same with me. Like I'm speaking to, I don't know, these like huge business owners, and sometimes there's just gaps in their knowledge, and at the same time they're explaining things to me and that's so common sense to them. I'm like, I have no idea what you're saying. It's sort of, yeah, I believe it's like above age 3 or something, you like start to realize that not all people like know the same stuff as you do, but I still struggle with it at times.
Yeah,
It's
no,
funny.
I think too, like at business conferences and meetings, you'll constantly find that. Like you'll be amazed at how successful someone is without knowing something you consider so basic.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also the beauty in it all is realizing no
Sure.
one knows everything. And you can learn so much from people that you think are doing worse than you or far less than you. They still have knowledge you don't. So just use every opportunity to learn and grow.
Yeah, no, for sure. I love that. That's cool. You started speaking since 2019, 2020? When did you pick that up?
Oh gosh, to be honest, I couldn't tell you when I really started speaking because I was also, back in my dancing days, I was a media rockette. So I was on
Okay, right.
television. But no, I would say with JVZoo, especially, I was
Mm-hmm.
not only one of the few female executives when I came in, but I was the only female CEO in my space. So I know, on stages back in 2016, 17 as well, speaking.
Cool. What's that been like doing that for other companies and sharing your story?
When I first started, I think I was just like, okay, I can only talk about JVZoo. Now I really love it because I can talk about all the companies I run, all the industries I work in, and I can really teach people how do you manage it all? How do I achieve every goal I've ever set for myself? And how do I break it down in the most simple of ways, not just for them, but how I broke it down in the most simple of ways for myself so I can execute on it every single day and there's never an excuse not to.
Yeah, that's cool. How do you like approaching your personal brand? What's the goal with it?
So for me, personal branding is major. It is the way everything is trending and going. And I don't want to be known as Laura Casselman of JVZoo. Yes, JVZoo is the company I've been running and one of the companies I own, but I own many companies. And I think that people, human beings, are like a box of crayons. We're not just one crayon in the box. We are the whole box, all of us. So I don't want to be known for just one thing. So I want my personal branding to be out there showing me as the entire box of crayons and what I'm doing and how I can help other people, whether that's free knowledge or consulting that I do as well.
Right. Do you have a long-term like goal with it? Personal branding specifically?
Well, yeah, I think to set myself up as a speaker so that when I do put people in my positions in all my companies and I step out of the day-to-day,
Mm-hmm.
that I can still travel speaking and sharing the knowledge of how we build companies to be sustainable
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and build teams to run those companies.
Makes it easier too, right? Like attracting the right people when you have a strong personal brand, like people know what they can expect when they start working with you.
Absolutely.
So
And
cool.
that's a great thing about the internet. Like you just said, especially social media, you can see who the person is and know who they are and decide, do you want to work with them or not before you even have a call with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's it. You wrote a book. What's that been like?
Okay. Real talk. I
All
had big
right,
plans.
hit me.
Yeah, I had real plans. of book 1 and book 2. And book 1 was just to get me to write the book I really wanted to write, book 2. And then I wrote a book, which I thought was the hard part, not. Then I published a book, and I hated it. I hated it so much.
Why?
It is not easy. Publishers really don't do a lot to support you across the board. Like every author I've ever spoken to was like, oh, my publisher did nothing. So you think you're gonna get this book deal, and then you're going to have someone helping you with marketing and getting your book out there, and you don't. And then as a person that owns an advertising and marketing firm, I thought this is not actually a problem. This is what we do. This is our wheelhouse. Except we make business decisions and marketing off of real-time data. And in the book world, you don't see the data until a week later. It doesn't get reported back to you until a week later. You don't know who bought your book, how many people bought your book. And then you never know. You can never find out because the companies don't share it to you where you can buy, where people buy books from. Like Amazon's not going to tell you, well, this person clicked on this ad on Facebook. This one came from this ad on Google. So you don't even know what ads are working for you and what aren't. You are just blind in the entire thing. So for me, it's not a very smart business. And I didn't enjoy it because I don't like flying in the dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You found ways to circumvent that, like self-publishing might be easier, or no?
You can self-publish, but you can't sell on the, like you have to sell it yourself. Which I would absolutely recommend. If you're just writing a book to build authority, or you're writing a book for your customer base already, like the listeners of your podcast, you know, those are your primary buyers, I would absolutely self-publish. I would sell it off my own site, and I would have a fulfillment center that I just, you know, had the API go to say, mail the book out to this person, this person, this person. But for me, because of my speaking and because of my other work, and I wanted not an Amazon bestseller, which I did get multiple times, but I wanted the accolade of, you know, Wall Street Journal. So for me, I had to go the traditional publishing route so that those sales would
That's
count.
the only way to do it?
Yes.
What's the requirement for that?
So it's Wall Street Journal is straight up number of sales in a week.
Okay.
So for the people on their bestsellers list are the top 10 best-selling books for the prior week. So I sold, I believe, 12,000 books in a week, and was number 3 on the list.
Okay.
Things like New York Times, those are very different. It's not just, are you selling the most books? It's, are you going to continue to sell the most books? Do we think you're popular enough? Have we seen you in magazines? Have we seen you on billboards? Do we like you ourselves? It's like a really different background. And I did not make the Cool Kids Club of the New York Times bestseller.
Too
but
bad.
That's okay. Yeah. I'm like, that's okay. I thought my second book might, but that second book, it'll be a long, long time before that one ever comes out.
There's no like plan in place right now for that?
No. Like I felt like I spent so much time making Trust Your Increments what I wanted it to be, that, and like I said, on my own, without any help from the publishers, you know, that kind of thing, that I said, not now. I want to grow my businesses. I have the one book that's done well. I really believe in what I wrote in that book, so I will continue pushing that book for some time to come. And then there may or may not ever be a second.
Yeah. No, that's fine. I want to write a book someday, but I think I'm too perfectionistic for it. I'm gonna like revise it 200 plus times, and then I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, and not only that, but the mistakes in my book came from editing, not the original manuscript I sent in.
Amazing. Yeah, that's amazing. I love it. What's left on the list? What do you want to do, by the way? Not just in the ventures you have right now, but are there things you like wanna start, or market you want to get into that intrigue you?
Yeah, so there's something, it's a separate company that I'm building right now. It's already in process, but it will work with JVZoo. And so that's really for the younger generations. Like I told you, that making sure that I stay relevant and I know where the future of business is going. So I'm building this separate company that is going to be deeply integrated with JVZoo, and we're really excited about everything that we're doing there. And then for me, I think on a personal level, I just I love what I do. I love building businesses, but to also be at the point in my life where I can fully be a mom when it's time, like when my daughter is done at school, then I get to just step into mom mode, and I can really do that and trust my teams that are in place. I get to travel the world and take my daughter and my parents. That's a really cool feeling.
Mm-hmm.
To be the one that's like, hey, you guys took care of me for so long to my parents, and now let me take care
Sure.
of you, and like let me show you, you don't have to fly in economy. Let's fly first
Mm-hmm.
class, here's this beautiful suite on an airplane you can be in. Um, those
Yeah.
things are really cool, and it's nice to be in that phase of my life, and I really want to keep doing that and showing my parents the world and taking my daughter all around the world.
Yeah. No, that's got to be amazing. I hope my parents live long enough for me to share it all with them. That's cool.
Yeah, it's a really cool transition to make. And it's awesome to see your parents not only be proud of you, but to also be like children seeing new things because you're showing it to them.
Were they cool with it? Whenever I like try to buy my mom something, she's like, "No, I take care of you." Like it's not the other way around.
Well, first of all, I love that, and I understand that as a mother as well. But at the
Yeah.
same point in time, I think like my parents worked so hard to provide me the education and opportunities that made me the woman that I am today. So they are reaping the rewards of their hard work now.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
Yeah.
At this phase for you, is there how do you define success right now compared to I don't know when you started in business?
Well, yeah. So success always, when I was younger, was monetary, right? Like I would look at the value and dollars for me as was I successful or not, and titles. Was I successful based off my title? I'm in a very different place now. Maybe because I've accomplished the things I never thought I would fully. Maybe because I surpassed a lot of the goals I had set for myself 15, 20 years ago. But I'm in a different phase now where success truly means, do I get to do the things I want to do when I want to do them? And whether that's running the businesses, if that's what I want to do right now, am I able to do that because I want to versus I have to? Am I able to stop anything and go hang out with my kid and play princess because I want to, not because I can't afford a nanny? Like I'm in a very different phase now where it's like, can I do what I want to when I want to? And that's
Yeah.
success. And I want to stay here. I want to continue to live the lifestyle that I live, and keep graduating to a new level of comfort and luxury, to be honest.
That's good. I like that. What's the when you're speaking, what's the main message you push on the audience?
So I want everyone to know that they are capable of incredible things. And how did they accomplish all their goals? That's what I do. Like I really want people to understand, because a lot of times people will say, well, it's really easy for you to say that because you have all these companies, you're a CEO, you have accomplished all these things, so it must be easy to say success is easy. But I'm like, no, I'm a girl that grew up in a one-stoplight town that graduated with 17 other people that, nothing was handed to me. But I do think success is easy. I think the formula, once you know it, is easy. You just have to be consistent and disciplined. And so that's my message when I'm speaking, is to teach people how is success broken down to be easy, and how can I manage myself to be successful, and what is success to me.
Thanks for listening to the Quinn podcast. If you enjoyed it, you can go to quinnpodcast.com to check out all of the previous episodes. quinnpodcast.com.